Hi, I'm Jim. Thank you for joining me for the next in my series of lockdown online wine tastings. We're pitching up France and Australia today. So there's a couple of conceptions, I guess, about these wines that some people may have. I often get in the restaurants and will say to me, Jim, I don't really like Australian wines. And I think they got a really bad reputation because of some of the wines at the lower level in the 90s, 2000s. The brands like Oxford Landing, Jacob's Creek were really sort of over heavily oaked Chardonnays, and the Shiraz, for instance, can tend to be quite jammy and hot and overripe. So that might not suit some people's palates, but Australia have mid-range and top level always produced incredible wines since they took these amazing grapes, which started their life over in France. Conversely, sometimes people will say to me, Jim, French wines, I don't really get it. I don't really like them. And that can be kind of for the other reason, because there's less sweetness generally in these French wines and also higher acidity. So that can maybe not suit people's palates too. But I've selected wines which are really good quality wines here from similar price points. We're going to taste these blind as well. So we're going to call it Pinot Noir A, Pinot Noir B, Cab A, Cab B, and Chardonnay A and Chardonnay B. And we'll see if we can guess from some clues which I'll give you by telling you a little bit about the wines, which one's which. So the wines I've got here for you, we're going to start with a Pinot Noir. So Burgundy is the home of Pinot Noir really in France. And yeah, it's a very well-known region. Within that region, there's lots of different appellations, smaller areas with different rules and laws, very highly regulated. And that's one of the reasons that French wine can be so successful in maintaining its quality. So this is from Gevrey-Chambertin. So from in between the two villages here of Gevrey and Chambertin, produced by a lady called Jane Eyre. We'll go into that a little bit more later on. The Pinot Noir is from Tasmania. So I don't know if you tried many wines from Tasmania. I certainly hadn't until about 4 or 5 years ago, but the conditions here for Pinot Noir are absolutely exceptional. And outside of Burgundy, it's tricky to find really great Pinot Noirs that have a slight savoury quality, that aren't too overripe styles. So yeah, really interested to try that from Dawson James. That's 2011. The Cabernet Sauvignon, so Cabernet Sauvignon's home is in Bordeaux on the left bank, and some of the most famous appellations in the world for Cabernet Sauvignon are here, and one of those is Margaux. I mean, a lot of people recognize this name. There is a wine from a producer called Chateau Margaux, and that is the finest Margaux, but this is from the appellation Margaux, because unfortunately we do have a budget, but of course, because the wines are very good in Margaux, they are, of course, expensive and high quality. The Cabernet Sauvignon we're going to take you through is from a region called Coonawarra, and Coonawarra in South Australia has an exceptional climate for Cabernet Sauvignon. It actually produces really interesting wines which almost have like a minty eucalyptus quality to it. So those should be very different. I'll be disappointed if I get those wrong in the blind tasting. We'll see where we get to. The Chardonnays we have here, you can see I'm not hiding behind anything at all because I picked a Grand Cru Chablis. So Grand Cru is the highest level of quality of wine you can get in France, with the most strict regulations on things like yields and all sorts else. So this is from Domaine L'Enclos. Really interested to try that from the Val d'Isère appellation within Chablis. On the Australian side, we're going to Adelaide Hills. Now, I've tasted some of the wines from Shaw and Smith at entry level, which are exceptional. So I'm really interested to try this Lenswood, because this is a single vineyard, more premium wine from them. After that, we'll also be going through my tips from the cellar. So this week I'm going to talk a little bit about glassware and why you use different glasses for different wines, or why you could do, and also a little bit about the decanting of wine too, after a couple of questions I got last week.